Derek, is all that pizza gone? Okay, just make sure.
They're making sure I'm gonna have food next time.
Right.
There you go. Are the mics on? Oh, thank you. He's like, quit hitting your mic. They're on.
You. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mercy.
Yes. Subfloor.
Yeah.
It was hot in there today. At some point, I'm gonna have to leave. The recess is every. Yeah. Pit stop is needed. Don't even bother sitting down. Carrie, we're gonna go ahead and call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. If you will please stand for our invocation and pledge. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Let us pray. Our Father, which art in heaven, once again we assemble ourselves in the Chamber of Government of Cartersville, Georgia. Once again we lean and depend on you for guidance, direction, wisdom, and clarity. We ask you to be with us during the meeting and help us make the right things and the right decisions for the city. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Drake, the roll, please.
Carrie Hodge, Ward 1. Here. Jay Stepp, Ward 2. Carrie Roth, Ward 3.
Here.
Calvin Cooley, Ward 4.
Here.
Gary Fox, Ward 5.
Here.
Taft Wren, Ward 6.
Thank you, Julia. First order of business is the approval of council meeting minutes from our June 2nd meeting. And council, you've had an opportunity to look these over and make any or note any changes. Now would be the time to point those out. And if there are none, then a motion to approve those minutes would be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved unanimously. Mr. Porta.
Yes, Mayor. The Etowah Area Housing Authority, one of the members' term has expired, and she would like to continue on through April 1, 2027, and it's recommended for your approval.
Thank you very much. Do you have that person's name?
Miss Hetty Smith.
Yes. Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And that appointment is approved unanimously. Tom, go ahead and get us started off with the budget ordinance for 22-23.
Honorable Mayor and Council, this is the second reading of the fiscal year 2023 budget. The proposed budget is a balanced budget. It increased $22,021,065 over last fiscal year's budget. The increase equates to about a 13.98% increase. The proposed budget includes salary adjustments, a slight increase in the city's property tax millage rate, increases in health insurance for both city employees in the city, and increases in the water and sewer rates, electric rates, and solid waste rates. There have been no changes since the first reading, and I recommend approval of the fiscal 2023 budget as presented.
And like I did the first reading, I will point out that your reference to a slight millage rate increase is not an increase in the millage rate. It is the not rolling back to where we were the previous year. We're a growing city. We've historically taken that growth that we need to reinvest into the city. So we have to call it an increase, even though the state can do it at 6% and not call it a tax increase.
Correct.
Mr. Mayor, this has been a long process for department heads and Tom. I appreciate all the help in this, to get us to this point. And I do recommend this for your approval.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? If there's not, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Tom, now if you'll please take up the utilities ordinance regarding solid waste rates.
Honorable Mayor and Council, this is also the second reading of this ordinance. This is a proposed fiscal year 2023 budget, includes an increase in the solid waste fund to help address the maintenance and capital needs of the solid waste fund. The increase is as follows: a $2.50 increase per month for residential solid waste customers and a 10% increase per month in the commercial solid waste customers. Also, residential customers will no longer be required to purchase solid waste carts, as the city will provide those. This is to go in effect July 1st, 2022. No changes since the first reading, and I recommend approval of the proposed solid waste rate increases as read.
Thank you, sir. Is there any discussion on this item? If there is none, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. If you'll please handle the ordinance regarding water and sewer rates.
Honorable Mayor and Council, again, this is the second reading of this ordinance. This, again, is for the water and sewer rate increase. The fiscal year 2023 budget includes an increase in the water and sewer rate to help address the maintenance and capital needs of the water fund. The increase is as follows: a 2.5% increase in residential, commercial, and industrial water and sewer rates for both inside and outside of the city limit customers. The 2.5% increase will allow the water department to continue the maintenance of the existing water lines and sewer lines, as well as update and expand the system to fulfill future needs. The amendment ordinance also adds a new wholesale rate class for customers, which currently only includes Bartow County Water System as a customer. The wholesale and industrial classes are currently set at the same rate. There was one change to the prior ordinance. The wholesale rate conversion from CCF to 1,000 gallons was miscalculated. The new calculation has been included in your packet tonight and is in the ordinance that I am presenting tonight. I recommend the approval of the proposed water and sewer rate increase to begin July 1st, 2022.
And if you can give me a rough dollar amount on what the average residential customer sees.
Yes, sir. I
additional.
left that out, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Residential customers will increase about $1.10 per 7,000 gallons consumed.
Thank you. All right, any questions of Tom on this item? If there are no questions or discussion, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve is amended.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The utilities ordinance regarding electric rates, please, Tom.
Yes, sir. Honorable Mayor and Council, again, this is the second reading of this ordinance. This is for the ordinance regarding electric rate increases. The proposed budget includes an increase to the electric rates. The electric department is proposing a rate increase based on the state, on the rate study provided by Electric Cities of Georgia. This is due to operations of the electric department increasing and the increased cost of Plant Vogel units 3 and 4, which will soon be coming online. The proposed increases are necessary to sustain the electric department's expenditures. Along with the increases mentioned above, the cost of electric department's cost of electricity generation, which is through coal and natural gas, have also increased. The proposed change includes an increase in the base rate of all rate classes. All changes will occur in the actual rates of each rate class. With the proposed changes to the electric rates, the estimated increase to a residential user will be about $8 a month for 1,000 kilowatt hours used. The average Cartersville resident uses about 1,013 kilowatt hours per month. I recommend approval of this proposed electric rate change to begin July 1st, 2022.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Reinhardt on this item? If there's no discussion or any questions, a motion would be in order.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Mr. Menino, you have the next item, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a proposed text amendment to the development regs in relation to model home permits. We have 3 criteria right now. In working with the building official, he has recommended we eliminate the requirement for final platting before all the final utilities can be hooked up. It's creating some practical difficulties for operations. With that, we do recommend approval of this text amendment. Again, this is a first reading.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, this is the first reading, and then Randy and his department and all the departments that go through the plan review process, as Randy mentioned, has looked at this. It's something that came out through the process when we were looking at Jackson Farm, but through the model home. So this would be recommended for your approval at the next meeting.
Well, I know we don't vote, but thank you to you and all the department heads for scanning and reviewing and trying to make things easier where we can do that for people that are going about developing. Any questions or discussion on this first reading? Thank you, sir.
Next item, Mr. Mayor, is out-of-date ordinances. I've talked to Chief McCain on this. We'd like to have remove this item from the agenda because we need to take further review of it, and before we may bring it back to the City Council at a later date.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lovell, you have the next item, please.
Yes, Mayor. The next item is the Downtown Development Authority at the city's behest has polled the community to determine whether they wish to continue the business improvement district downtown. A petition related to that has been submitted by the Downtown Development Authority to the city of Cartersville. Y'all are approving a resolution to accept the petition and then to direct staff to review the petition for compliance with all applicable laws and to give you a written report back. And then afterwards, you will have a public hearing to receive public comment. And then after the public hearing, you will have 2 readings on this as an ordinance to adopt if you so desire. Based upon that, you are not approving the bid tonight. All you're doing is accepting the petition.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion? If there's none, a motion is in order.
Motion to accept the petition.
Second?
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Before we start, there are 3 items that we'll add to the agenda this evening. I'll entertain a motion to add those 3 items.
Mayor, 4th item.
4.
Excuse me, 4 items. Thank you for that.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
4 items added. Thank you for that. And so, Mr. Dixon, if you'll get us started out with your pipe purchase.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The gas system is requesting the purchase of 3,500 feet of 4-inch steel pipe. This pipe is being installed as part of the development agreement for the Great Valley Commerce Center development that was previously approved by council. Bids were requested from 3 vendors, and only 1 bid was submitted by Consolidated Pipe of Lawrenceville, Georgia, at a price of $58,800. This is not a budgeted item, but it's fully reimbursable, and council's approval of this bid is recommended.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Gas meters.
Yes, sir. The gas system is requesting the purchase of 40 census size 880 gas meters to replenish our current stock. Equipment Controls Company of Norcross, Georgia is the sole source provider of this equipment, and they provided a quote of $41,525.20. These meters are fully compatible with our new AMI system and can be delivered immediately. This is a budgeted item, and council's approval is recommended.
Thank you, sir. Questions, comments, or motions on this item?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Chief Carter, you've got the next one, please. Actually, you got the next 2.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I first bring before you tonight approval for a budgeted item. This is specifically for our training division. This is our records management software annual maintenance fee agreement. This is with Vector Solutions. You've noted in the past as Target Solutions, but this is a training aid that we use. It's also how we maintain our certifications for ISO and Georgia Firefighter Standard Training Council. It is a budgeted item, annual price of $7,591.50. Respectfully request your approval.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Make a motion to approve.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. One of those added items was for some hazardous material equipment.
Yes, sir. Yesterday, we had a structure fire in one of our local industries, and we decided at that point in time that we also activated the joint hazmat team due to some of the components and the potential hazards that may happen within that fire. This is to replace some of the equipment that was actually damaged during that firefight. We will be activating our Cartersville ordinance in Chapter 919 that allows us to do reimbursement under hazardous materials, and also the Code of Federal Regulations 40 and 49. The total cost for the equipment that is damaged is $10,690.64, but that does not include shipping and handling. So I am asking for an amount up to and not to exceed $12,000 to replace this equipment. This is not a budgeted item, but this will be reimbursed by that local industry upon invoice, and they are aware of this.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Forsyth, you're up.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. The first item is the rebuild and rehab of the Main Street booster pump station. This is for our high-pressure water pump station on Main Street. We pre-qualified contractors for this project, and only 2 bidders submitted a bid, with the low bid being $2,772,129 from Heavy Constructors of Marietta, Georgia. We're recommending your approval for this project. It is a budgeted item to be paid out of capacity fee funds.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Sydney on this? If not, a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Field loader equipment.
Yes, sir. This is yes. This is the replacement unit for a 1994 Caterpillar loader. It has about 6,000 usable hours used on it. It's been giving a lot of problems lately. We've spent about $10,000 repairing it over the last 3 to 4 months and still have not repaired all the issues with it. We requested an open bids. We're recommending the best bid from Flint Equipment for $193,327. They're the best bid due to their delivery time of 10 days versus 20 and 26 weeks from other bidders.
Okay. Your recommendation is for the best bid based on the
Delivery date.
delivery time.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Make a motion to accept the best bid from Flint Equipment.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. And you had an item that was added too, Sydney, if you'll please handle that one.
Yes, sir. This is for the purchase of 192 3/4 inch water meters. These are compatible with our AMI system. We cannot get them from the current supplier of AMI meters for another 4 to 6 months. This is from the other supplier in the state. We're requesting your approval to purchase 1 pallet of 192 meters for $23,961.60 from Kendall Supply Company.
Thank you. Any questions on this item? If there's none, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Sydney. Mr. Greer, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This item is for the make-ready fee required by Georgia Power for us to permit our fiber attachments to GPC on poles south of Monroe Crossing down 41 to Emerson Police Department City Hall. This is not a budgeted item. It's budgeted in the next budget, but it's not in the current budget, but funds are available, and the total is $19,555, and we recommend this for your approval.
Okay. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Stephen.
Next item is for the purchase of office furniture for the new Fibercom office on South Tennessee Street. Total price is $25,590.95 from Office Furniture Expo. Again, not a budgeted item, but funds are available, and I recommend this for your approval.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Morgan.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. This is a request to purchase a combination of cooling fans for the garage areas and unconditioned space. This will help increase the airflow and also remove the exhaust fumes from the building. So we're requesting approval for this tonight.
What is the cost of those?
It's $35,231.25.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Porter, you've got the next couple.
Yes, Mayor, the HVAC, one of the units at the Bartow County Library has gone out. They actually received a quote from their company that handles the system, but Freddie got with Public Works and got quotes over there with much better pricing. Recommendation is to go with the lowest bid from Mike Jones HVAC at $9,132. They're asking the city to contribute to this. This is based on subject to the library getting a grant and the 50% match. So our portion would be just over $4,500 for that. Was not a budget item. The grant goes in effect in July 1, but I am recommending approval. We will find the money within next year's budget to cover that if the council approves this purchase.
And just for people that don't know, that's the library is owned, that building is owned by the city.
That is correct.
So
That
we're
is the city
responsible
owned.
for it.
Yes.
All right. Any discussion? And if not, a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries unanimously.
Next item is the first quarter 2022 Motorola radio invoice from Bartow County. It's for our 911 radio system that we use with Bartow County, that public safety uses, as well as several utility departments. Cost in this quarter is $38,259.81. Recommended for your approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Make a
Motion to
motion
approve.
I'll second that.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Why don't you go ahead and handle that added item that you were going to take on with our workers' comp renewal?
Yes, sir. Received the renewal for our property casualty and workers' comp insurance premium. We were with Travelers and Liberty Mutual. Terry Watkins is here if you have any particular questions, but renewal came in at 12% increase. We're still waiting on the cyber liability policy. Hopefully get that information tomorrow, but I'll have to bring that forward to you at the next council meeting. Our renewal on this, our policy expires on June 30. And the workers' comp, excess workers' comp, we're self-insured up to $600,000. We do have reserves built up to cover any losses, but that renewal for the workers' comp is $90,953, and the renewal for all the property casualty and auto other than the cyber is $1,038,855, and this is within our budgeted. I had about 15% rate increase and came in at 12 at this point in time for next year's budget.
All right, fingers crossed. Any questions for Dan on this item? If there are none, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. Mr. Hampton, you are in the spotlight.
Everywhere is a spotlight out there today. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item is for an invoice for M&R Services. They are a contractor that we use annually to test out a sample of our metering installations to make sure we're billing everybody correctly, make sure the multipliers are correct, everything's wired up correctly and safely, and find any wire that may be damaged in the field and things of that nature. The amount for the invoice was $7,616, and this was a budgeted expense. We do recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Derek.
Yes, sir. The next item was requesting the purchase of a 150 kVA pad mount three-phase transformer. This is to replace a stock unit that we've used, the last unit. The quote that we got 4 quotes. We went out for bids. The one that we are recommending was the quote from Solomon Transformer. We considered this one to be the best bid, even though not the cheapest, because of the delivery time being 8 to 9 weeks instead of 40 weeks, and we do not currently have one on the yard, and it came with a 3-year warranty instead of a 1-year warranty. We've had really good luck with the Solomon Transformers. We've only been using them maybe 2 years or so, and we haven't had any issues out of them yet. They've been really good to work with.
Great. Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Make a motion to approve the best bid from Solomon.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously. And you got one more, Derek, please?
Yes, sir. 77 Quail Run. This is our standard interconnection agreement. Anytime someone adds any type of generation, including solar, they are required to fulfill the requirements of this agreement to make sure they don't backfeed on our system and cause problems and things of that nature. And we also to make sure there's no safety issues that are generated when they put this online, didn't backfeed or anything like that. And it's basically you've signed a bunch of them, so it's nothing new to it. It's 77 Quail Run. We have checked the system, make sure it operates like it's supposed to, and we do recommend your approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries
Thank you.
unanimously. Mr. Pabst, you're up. No pressure.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight we have renewal contracts for our program providers with the Parks and Recreation Department. Those providers with their program offerings are as follows: the Cartersville Little League doing youth baseball, Southern Soccer Academy with youth soccer and camps, Top Shelf Concessions, who's our concessions provider, Wire to Wire Running, which does running clubs, camps, and races, and Legion Lacrosse that does youth lacrosse and camps. These existing program providers will continue to give the city 20 to 25% of their gross revenue, including all of the non-resident fees. Top Shelf Concessions will give the city 15% of their gross revenue monthly.
Thank you. Questions for Eric on this item? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, time for the Tom Reinhardt Show. Again.
Honorable Mayor and Council, I am bringing tonight before you the contracts for performing services for those agencies that are awarded funds each year as part of the annual budget. The following agencies are, and the amounts are included in the fiscal year 2023 budget. Cartersville Bartow County Library, $469,500. Cultural Arts Alliance, $41,000. Juvenile Court, $15,000. Bartow Health Access, $2,000. Good Neighbor Homeless Shelter, $2,000. Eddie Lee Wilkins Youth Association, $18,000. Bartow Cartersville Joint Development Authority, $200,000. Downtown Development Authority, $220,000. Again, all these contracts are budgeted in the fiscal 2023 budget, and I recommend your approval for these contracts.
Thank you. Any discussion? If there's none, then a motion is in order.
I'll make a motion to approve the contracts as stated.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The April 22 Finance Report.
Yes, sir. Honorable Mayor and Council, we'll be looking at the April 2022 budget, financial report, and comparing it to the April 2021 financial report. In the general fund, revenues increased over last year by $2.6 million. Let me back up. Revenues increased by $2.6 million over last year. Expenses increased by $3.2 million. Two areas of revenue I look at on a monthly basis are the local option sales tax. We have an increase there of about $945,000. Building permits and inspection fees have an increase there over last year by about $421,000. In the water and sewer fund, Revenues increased over last year by $2.4 million. Expenses decreased by $9.5 million. This is due to increased personnel expenses, increased operating expenses, decreased debt service expenses, decreased capital expenses, and increased transfers to the general fund. Gas fund, revenues increased over last year by $10.3 million. Expenses increased by $8.4 million. This is due to increased personnel expenses, increased operating expenses, increased cost of purchased gas, decreased debt service expenses, decreased capital expenses, and increased in transfers to the general fund. In the electric fund, revenues increased over last year by $4.5 million. Expenses increased by $3.3 million. This is due to increased personnel expenses, increased operating expenses, increased cost of purchased electricity, increased capital expenses, and increased transfers to the general fund. Stormwater fund, revenues increased over last April by $7,000. Expenses decreased by $290,000. This is due to decreased personnel expenses, decreased operating expenses, and decreased capital expenses. Solid waste fund, revenues increased over last April by $365,000. Expenses increased by $251,000. This is due to decreased personnel expenses, increased operating expenses, and increased capital expenses. And finally, in the fiber optics fund, revenues increased over last April by $112,000. Expenses increased by $181,000. This is due to increased personnel expenses, increased operating expenses, decreased capital expenses, and decreased transfers to the general fund. The cash position for the month of April, total unrestricted cash increased slightly, total restricted cash decreased. The SPOS balances, SPOS 2003 account, $60,313.70. SPOS 2014 account, $231,991.10. SPOS 2020 account, $5,407,768.81.
Got a question about the building permits and inspection fees. That's kind of spiked. I don't recall it being that much higher last month. Is there a certain project or something that? I know Randy I know I should have asked Randy.
I do know that there was a lot going on, and I believe we had a kind of a large spike towards the beginning of the fiscal year. I can go back and double check that.
Okay.
I don't recall. I think this year it increased about $70,000 over last year.
Yeah, we obviously apartment complex by Savoy was early on in the fiscal year was going on. And then you have other building permits. I'm trying to think if there's another one that's
Jackson Farm subdivision.
Jackson Farm. You're starting to get some
All
permits.
those.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions on the finance report? Mr. Port, any comments to add?
Just, Mr. Mayor, we're 10 months into the fiscal year. Obviously, for the general fund, we're doing much better than anticipated. Sales tax, local option sales tax are up, but also just trying to stay abreast of rate changes and costs for us throughout the city. Our organization, as kind of alluded to with the different purchases the departments have made, we're trying to stay ahead of that curve because things are costing more for us, and we're trying to be as efficient as possible with the public's money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. And then, Mr. Lovell, there was one other added item that we need to address this evening.
Yes, Mayor, on June 3rd of this year, we received an anti-litem notice from John Foy and Associates regarding a client of theirs who allegedly slipped and fell at the library. It has been reviewed by staff and the library board, and at the current time, they recommend you deny the anti-litem notice.
Okay. So Chair will enter a motion to deny the anti-litem claim.
Make a motion to deny the anti-litem notice.
Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And the item passes unanimously. Is the end of the business that needs to come before council this evening? I'll simply state Sunday's Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all those who are fathers, and if you still have yours around, do yourself a favor and make time with it. Also, well, we'll have another meeting before the 4th of July, won't we?
Yes. No, not before the
No, we
4th.
won't.
July
So,
7th.
yeah.
July 1st is the...
Kerry, would you like to share
Right.
details on the 4th of July parade?
Sure, the 4th of July parade is
4th of July.
is the 4th of July, 9 o'clock. Starting out from Tabernacles parking lot and coming through up Church Street, Bartow, down Main Streck, back to Tennessee Street. So I think it's a great parade. It is sponsored by the Rotary Club of Etowah, which is you can get your entry form from their website or contact someone from that club. I'm a member of that club, and we'd love to have you all come out and enter the parade. The funds are raised and go back into the community through the Rotary Club of Etowah, and also it's just a great time after the parade. That afternoon, I believe it's at 3 o'clock. The festivities start at Dillinger Park, and that'll be 3 o'clock. Start at 3 o'clock, and that's a great time out there. A lot of different vendors and food, and then the fireworks that evening.
Live music as well, and our Grand Marshal for the parade this year is Ronnie Brown, who, as many of you know, former Hurricane, Auburn Tiger, Carrie, and NFL football player, second pick of the draft back in '05. So we'll look forward to honoring him along with all of our veterans and first responders as we do every year. So again, there's ways out there. Look online. There's information out there about that. That's as far as I'll go with that. Anything else from council this evening? That being said, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Got it. Stay going.